Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the REC podcast, brought to you by REC Comics and Collectibles. I'm your host, Roman Chavez, and with me, as always,
Erik Icarus.
Eric.
Yes.
I have to explain to you a revelation I had.
Mm-hmm.
You know this, and I know you know. You have to know it.
Yeah.
Okay? Got a guy in our lives, I don't want to say his name. He looks a little bit like the main nerd from Revenge of the Nerds. Okay? Laughs like him, same mouth and smile. So I was like, man, what is that dude's name? Because I didn't know.
Right.
I didn't know what his name was.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
Oh, then you might not know this.
Okay.
His name is Robert Carradine.
The name sounds very familiar.
Brother
Of Mr.
David Carradine.
Yeah.
They are brothers. The guy from Revenge of the Nerds is brothers with David Carradine, and that blew my mind today.
What about talk about diverging?
Oh yeah.
That's
David Carradine
insane, man.
was maybe one of the coolest guys to live.
And he went out like a boss.
He went out like a boss with ninjas. Is what his family is trying to say. But we all know better. In excess of that, we know better. Okay.
Oh my God,
guys! This show is not about Robert Carradine. Okay, but
what?
That blew my mind today, and I did not tell Eric about it, and I
just got mind fudged.
I just wanted to see your reaction, as my reaction was a bit weird. All right, guys, we're gonna get loose tonight. Okay, we got some margaritas.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
The manliest of all drinks.
That's right.
And we are going to discuss. Actually, Eric, why don't you set it up?
Yeah, we're gonna do. I think we're just gonna go in a different direction a little bit. I just talked to some people listening to some fans of the podcast, and they were, I feel like we maybe get accused of doing a little bit of booty kissing around here, and I think, maybe we need to be a little bit more assertive in saying that sometimes these companies don't always have hits. They don't always land, you know?
You're saying that we're not really talking about the bad stuff.
No,
in the comic book world, in the movie world, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so Eric reached out to me and says, he's like, what are some of the worst comic books you've ever read?
Right.
And guys, we're going to talk about that today.
Yeah.
We are going to talk about some of the worst comic books we've ever read.
Definitely.
And I'm just going to go out and say it, part one. We'll probably do
this
more.
Might be an anthology.
Yeah.
I can see it being, because, as many hits as they have, they might have as many misses. And I especially think in the last 5 years. There's not that many good books out there, right? I mean,
no, I disagree with that point, but there's ebb and flows to the whole thing.
Gotcha.
There's waves, and when the water is calm, all of the ships are equal. Okay,
I like it.
And it's there's bad stuff, there's good stuff. I would say Marvel does the most bad stuff
for sure.
Like they consistently really sets you up, and we're going to do this thing, and we're going to change, we're going to flip the whole world on its head, and then it's just very lackluster material.
Right. So like their concepts are great.
Yes.
They just don't execute them very well.
Yes. And then even some of their concepts aren't that great. I'd say they're about half and half for the most part.
Okay.
They're always trying to get new people, and unfortunately they tend to alienate the older fans.
Very true.
Yes. DC is very consistent in like their normals, so their Batman title is consistently pretty good.
Okay.
And then when it's great, it's the best thing out there.
Oh, yeah.
Green Lantern for like 7-10 years was like the best comic I was reading
for
a long time.
Yeah, you were telling me a lot about that.
X-Men always has its day in the sun, but it's only matched by the mediocrity of the book that follows. So whenever they do something good, you know the cliff is coming.
For sure.
There's always with X-Men more than any book out there. When you are reading X-Men and it's good, there's a pit forming in your stomach because the roller coaster's coming. You're slowly tick, 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 and you can't see in front of you, and then that downturn comes, and it's egregious.
That's
all right.
Okay, fair enough.
So, they write so many books, each company, and they're bound to have some misses.
Definitely.
Some better than others, some worse than others.
Sure.
But go ahead, start us off. What do you got? What do you got? Give me your DC title.
I wouldn't even say this is DC. Youngblood.
Youngblood. Oh yeah, that's the Image.
Image first book published under Image. If I'm correct, I think
I'm not entirely
if not first, one of the first.
Definitely one of the first. Yeah.
Mr. Rob Liefeld created.
Everybody's favorite.
Illustrated, yes.
Yeah, everybody's favorite.
This, from what I remember being in the 90s and actually having read a little bit of it to, prepare for this episode, this would be like if, when you're 10 years old and you want to draw, and you like read comics, you're like, I want to make my own superheroes.
Yeah.
So then you draw Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Where you're like, you know what? I'm going to make him red.
Yeah.
And I'm going to call him Shaft. Because my dad loves the TV show. And then we have our Thing ripoff, Mr. Badrock, whose catchphrase is Yabba Dabba Doom. Lovely. Except, but he's gray. He doesn't really look like rocks, honestly. Yeah. I'm trying to think of the other. There's Chapel, who's Punisher in blackface.
Yeah.
Or whiteface, if you think about it. But from what I've read, it's very just... It's so unoriginal. It's derivative. I don't know if this is Mark Liefeld trying to find...
Rob Liefeld.
Rob Liefeld trying to find his footing, basically. It's just not... It's not good. The dialogue is awful.
Yes.
It just doesn't it doesn't offer anything new. And it's just some of the worst art I've seen in comic books. I'm sorry. It just doesn't look very good.
It is. It's not Rob's best stuff by far.
That's what I mean. I think he's just trying to find his footing here.
Which, it's funny because, Rob was a kid who got the keys to the Cadillac.
Oh, for sure.
And, he did kind of turn around New Mutants for Marvel.
Sure.
He did some really good stuff. Launched X-Force, which I think might still be Marvel's second. It's either second or third highest selling.
Oh, for sure.
Number one of all
Everybody
time.
I knew had that
Yes.
comic book.
Yeah. And, when the exodus of all those famous, amazing artists left Marvel to start Image, Rob was still really, really young and was kind of their de facto president, CEO of the company.
Wow.
And he was just putting everything out there. He was, he got in some trouble because he was mismanaging some funds and really, because the whole idea of Image was, all right, Eric, you have Jawbreaker Comics,
right?
And I've got Sinestro Comics. You guys can't see the shirts we're wearing. That's what we're wearing, Jawbreaker and Sinestro. We have our own studios, but we all publish under Image.
So that's just an umbrella.
Yes.
Image is the umbrella, but it's creator-owned.
Everything's creator-owned.
Oh, okay.
So you want to take Jawbreaker Studios and sell it to Marvel, you have every right to do that.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it does. Because when these guys were drawing for Marvel, they were slaves.
Oh, yeah, basically.
Todd McFarlane talks about drawing for 10, 12 hours a day and not making much money.
That's insane, man.
And, Marvel's notorious for said things. But I digress. Please continue.
Oh, no. That was just... that was going to be like my first shot. Is just...
Okay.
It's Rob Liefeld, basically... I think him just solidifying to me that he is not as good as he thinks he is.
It's very true.
And I think we're seeing more of what this is coming up in his Major X title.
Yeah.
That might come up later. I don't know.
Yeah, but, I still got to finish it.
It's, again, some of the worst stuff I've ever read. I'm going to end it there.
All of the drawing in that is definitely not Rob's best foot forward. He doesn't know how to draw those. The muscles on top of muscles on top of muscles.
The pads.
The
pouches.
All of the pouches. But, at least he can kind of lean into that. He actually did a character a couple years ago called The Pouch, and it's just all of the pouches.
Okay, so he knows.
He can laugh at himself.
Okay, fair enough.
He does have a sense of humor about himself, but it's a lot of people telling him he sucks all the time.
For sure.
So that would be hard for me.
I thought this was like a joke comic initially when I looked at it, and I'm like, whoa, man, he's being serious here. But yeah, pretty bad.
Yeah,
pretty bad stuff.
A lot of his stuff under Extreme Studios, which was his company,
right?
Was very much like Prophet is basically Captain America. Like all of his characters are basically somebody else's character.
Bites from other characters.
Yes. And Deadpool, Deathstroke, people. Again, I've had nothing but good experiences with Rob, but I do see what happens on the internet. I'm not a truther by any means, but guy's been nice to me, so I will continue to.
I mean, he
do so.
Me Too'd my eyes. I think he owes me something.
All right. Well, you went with an independent comic.
Yes.
I'm gonna end mine with my independent comic.
Fair enough. We'll bookend this here. Okay. Perfect.
I'll go ahead and start with a single issue from Marvel in the last 10 years, and it's one of the worst things I've ever read because of one panel.
Okay.
Okay, it was written by Dwayne McDuffie. Fantastic Four 545. And at this point, the Fantastic Four are kind of in something of a shakeup. It's Thing, Johnny, Black Panther, and I can't remember who the fourth member is. But in this issue, they come up against Heralds of Galactus, Silver Surfer, and Stardust, I believe.
Ziggy?
Ziggy, the man himself. The original spaceman. And a fight ensues.
Okay. This has already sounded awesome.
Yeah, sounds great. I'm excited for the fight.
Totally.
Until Black Panther gets the drop on the Silver Surfer, puts him in a hold, and is like, and I'm going to paraphrase, your physiology is mostly humanoid, so it'll be tough for you to get out of this. You're telling me that a being with a power cosmic, no matter what his physiology is, can't escape a superhuman? And it's the most, and it's seriously just like 2 panels of that. And it just like, it was one of the few times, you guys can't see this, but I literally with 2 fingers closed my comic and set it down gently and was like, what is this? Now, I get it. This sounds weird because Eric and I are big fans of Captain America catching Thanos' hand.
Oh, yeah.
Which is almost the same thing.
Kinda, sorta.
It's almost the same thing. But Cap wasn't giving us any exposition on why he thinks he can catch Thanos' thing. He's just being a guy in a moment and doing a thing. And I mean, and that's a 90s book. This was a late 2010 book.
Yeah.
10s, and it was just so weird. And then everybody hated it. Mm-hmm. Everybody hated it.
I remember you and my dad talking about it.
Oh my gosh. And then Dwayne McDuffie, rest in peace, the guy passed away a few years ago, actually, who has done tremendous things for comics in the Black American community, and did a lot of great stuff for Justice League Unlimited. Like, the guy's got chops, but like, you can't defend this.
Right.
And he tried to, and he's like, well, he's allowing the Silver Surfer a few seconds to so they can get to the bottom of this. It's like, well, that's not portrayed at all.
No.
And you can explain that with a thought bubble and not try to give me your BS humanoid physiology thing.
Right.
That
T'Challa can overpower Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
Not happening.
There's no way that I can overpower a vampire.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Like, I can get something, and again, we're talking crazy. Get something, whatever, grab an eye, cool. But if I'm holding a person stronger than me, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. And we're talking tens of thousands of leagues different in my opinion.
For sure. And honestly, he's holding it. All Silver Surfer had to do was fly.
Yeah.
As fast as he could, and he would fall.
Yeah, or just move his arm because he's a being of cosmic power. So, yeah.
And this was kind of piggybacking on, I don't know if Duffy wrote that first run of Black Panther where he just beats up Captain America.
Oh yeah, he did.
Okay, he wrote that too.
That is Dwayne McDuffie.
So this is just in line with Black Panther being able to just overpower anybody.
Yeah,
just out Batmaning Batman basically.
And again, I get it. It's Black Panther's book. So if it's your book, you get to be the guy that wins.
Sure.
This is a Fantastic Four book, but it wasn't like he beat up the Thing. It was that he held the Silver Surfer, like put the Silver Surfer in a compromising position.
So was it like a full Nelson, or was it?
Yeah, it didn't even look smart. It didn't even, as somebody who knows some martial arts,
right.
It didn't even look like something that you would do in a movie, like in a bad movie. It was just it was poorly, and I mean, it's drawn. It looks great. The art's good.
Sure.
But it's just poorly executed, and again, the exposition is what's worse about it.
Right.
The exposition just really, because as a writer, people are going to call BS on this.
Of course.
So let me tell them why they're wrong.
And you're going to have Black Panther explain that to Silver Surfer.
Yeah. Look, I get it. You're semi-omniscient, too. You know a lot of stuff.
Sure.
You've been around.
Yeah.
And in case you didn't know, because you chose to have an arms and legs, I can do this to you. I don't know. It's garbage. It's hot garbage.
Oh, because you were setting it up and like, man, this is going to be epic.
Sounded cool for a second.
It did.
Yeah.
And I bet that was building up when you were reading
it might be really cool if you pull those few panels out. It might be. I can't fully remember, but I was excited for that run though. I really was, and then it was just like, oh god,
what are you doing?
This is bad.
Oh. Yeah, that sounds pretty terrible, man. I remember you discussing it with my dad and being like,
Yes.
yeah, that sucks.
I needed to do I've read worse comics, guys. Believe me, I have.
Sure.
But I needed to purge this from my...
For sure.
Yeah, this is the first time I've been able to publicly talk about it. I've just been in special help groups, just very one-on-one help. But I'm gonna get it off my chest and I'm gonna get it out of my life. Okay?
There you go.
I'm
Fair
done
enough.
with it now.
Fair enough, man.
I'm ready to move on.
I'm with you, man. My next choice, I praise Frank Miller up and down. But you know what? This is the show that I'm not biased.
Okay.
And I believe a friend of the show, Casey Dupe, loves this story.
Oh.
It's All-Star Batman and Robin.
Well, that was gonna be my choice.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you want to talk about it together? You want to tandem this? Okay.
Please go ahead.
Okay. This was supposed to be the meeting of titans.
Meeting of
We had
great,
Jim
well put.
Lee doing art.
Yeah.
Frank Miller, who pretty much redesigned Batman in the 80s,
Mhm.
coming together. They're gonna create a new version of Batman.
Yes.
This, from what I understand, this story does not take place in normal continuity.
It does not.
It's
does
not really
not.
an Elseworld story, but it's just its own thing.
Again, just like a retelling, a different perspective on the start of Batman and Robin.
There you go. And it pretty much starts out the same. Robin is, with the Flying Graysons,
Mhm.
and they're killed in a similar fashion, mob boss, basically. So Batman ends up going out. Help me out here. Does he kidnap Robin first, or does he go after the mobsters first?
So he is trying to go after mobsters, and then the thing happens with the Flying Graysons where they get killed, and then Batman just takes Robin right there.
Right. Okay.
Just takes him.
And doesn't he say, "Welcome to the war"?
Basically, more or less.
I think that's a quote from
And
the book.
then crooked cops are following Batman.
Okay.
In a very crappy Batmobile. He doesn't have the good stuff yet.
Okay.
And then Bruce blows up their car.
Yeah.
And kills these cops and is laughing maniacally.
Yeah, for sure.
While doing this. And I can't remember if he blows it up or if he causes them to crash and then he laughs.
Either way, he is responsible for their death.
Yes. And he's just laughing super crazy and abusing this child throughout the story.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's he makes him sleep in the cave where it's not done right. It's still there's a desktop computer. It's not the Bat Cave we know. And yeah, it's
And from what I understand, there's a bunch of other stories going on. We get Barbara Gordon.
Yes.
We get Catwoman.
We do.
We get Joker.
Which that's the only good issue in the book. Issue 8, or the series, issue 8 of All-Star Batman and Robin has a crazy awesome Jim Lee cover, but doesn't make that much sense because he got this weird tattoo of a dragon.
He's the clown with the dragon tattoo.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yes.
Folks, we're talking about this stuff. Feel free to Google this while you're listening.
Please.
Google
All-Star Batman and Robin, issue 8. Cover's cool, but it
doesn't
has
make
a
sense.
dragon tattoo for some reason. But it's that's the one saving grace of the book.
Really?
Of the series. Issue 8 is fantastic.
Okay.
It is beautiful. It is Mark. It's like they grabbed Mark Miller. Or I'm sorry, dang, Frank Miller. You messed me up. It's like they grabbed Frank from the 80s and they're like, we need you to write this Joker thing. And it's beautiful.
Really?
It's dark and beautiful where it shows him, and I'm going to paraphrase, guys. I don't remember everything.
Yeah.
He's in this motel, hand and head up against the window, looking out, it's raining. And he's like, Gotham is ugly.
Right.
He's like, it's a disgusting place, but she's beautiful when she cries. He's like,
that is so Frank, man.
And yeah, it was very Sin City. It was very Sin City. And then you see this girl, you hear a girl talking in the background, and she's like, oh, normally I don't do this kind of thing. And she's like, I think that drink was too strong. And obviously, Joker had poison, or had roofied this chick.
Sure.
Taken her back to this motel, had sex with her, is lamenting about it, and then kills her with her own pantyhose. Yeah.
Yeah?
It was a crazy Joker moment. It was awesome.
Okay.
It was well written. It was beautiful. And obviously the art. You could literally re-release the entire series again with no dialogue from
And
Frank.
it would be great.
And I would buy it.
Yeah.
I would buy it all again just to get more Jim Lee art.
Right. Just saying, Jim Lee is not the problem here.
No, it is not. No, it's actually, and I'm sorry, Eric's a huge Frank Miller fan. You guys know, but
I will call BS when there's BS, man.
Yes,
that's some of the worst dialogue I've ever read.
It's bad.
Batman is basically, like you said, abusing this child. He's spouting out weird, just militaristic lines to Robin, like, soldier up.
Yeah.
And let's not forget when they're in the car and Robin is like, who are you? And he's like, who am I? Who am I? I'm the GD Batman.
Yeah.
And then he starts laughing maniacally.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, we get bipolar Batman.
Yes.
Kidnapping a child. He does not have a confrontation with the Joker.
Nope.
Most of these characters don't even meet.
Nope.
It's like all these side stories I feel like they didn't finish the book.
No.
This was not finished.
Nope.
So I don't know if they were building to something for the end, but from what I know, they just said, you guys are done.
Yeah.
We can't waste Jim's art on this.
Exactly. Because Jim doesn't do full stories rarely ever anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like, you guys are wasting arguably the best artist in comics on bad Frank Miller scripts.
Right. Again, when Frank is on, he's on.
Yeah.
But when he's off, it's bad. It is so bad. Again, I want to go back and listen to that episode and wonder why Casey loves this run so much. But there's some cool dialogue like that. The Joker monologue. Yeah. The We Mourn Lives Lost monologue is awesome. But yeah, again, just crappy book aside from the art. Just look up the art and you'll be like, oh yeah, that's cool. That's awesome.
And guys, just to give you a little peek behind the curtain, we don't normally talk about the subjects too much beforehand because we want our reactions to be very...
Yeah, for sure.
Be very... I didn't know he was going to do All-Star Batman and Robin. He didn't know I was going to do All-Star. He might have been able to figure I was going to do it because I've talked about my distaste for this series. All-Star Superman is actually worse because at least All-Star Batman has the art.
Yeah, there you go.
But All-Star Superman, Frank Quietly's art... I can't remember. It might not be Frank Quietly. I think it is Frank Quietly. His art does nothing for me. He did an amazing run on New X-Men, but it was written well, but the art's just bad. I'll bring you up some images later. So Frank Quietly does not work for me. So I'd recommend you buy issue 8. It's amazing. I buy it every time I find it.
Wow.
It's such a cool issue.
Yeah.
And you don't find it in the wild very often.
Really?
And then when you do, somebody wants $15 for it, it's not worth $15.
It's
worth $8. I'll pay $8 for it.
There you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
Because that art is so good, the dialogue is so good, and I'm a comic book hoarder.
Oh.
But, so my last title...
Yep.
And I've talked about it briefly on the show, actually recently too, is Crossed from Avatar Press, from Garth Ennis.
Oh.
Garth Ennis, I guess is how you say it, because it's not penis, it's penis, and Ennis has 2 N's. So, Garth Ennis, all right? This book should have never been made.
Okay.
And those of you who buy it, I judge you a lot. Because there's no nuance, there's no storytelling, there's nothing about it that makes any sense that you would continue to buy the book. And I do know people who love it. It's nothing but splatterpunk, porn, chainsaw. It's disgusting.
Okay.
And I did.
So it's Garth being Garth.
It's Garth being Garth without Marvel or DC saying,
"Hey,
turn it back a little bit."
And let's get a story in here.
Yes. The book is about a kind of epidemic breakout that happens, and it makes people really violent, really sexually violent.
Okay.
And they get
Red Bull and vodka, got it?
Yeah. They get like a rash on their, like, kind of the T-zone on the face that's kind of like a red rash. So people call them the crossed or the plus faces.
Okay.
Or whatever.
Okay.
And when you get it, it's only spread through blood or like fluids, like bodily fluids. So, and when you get it, it's a different take on like the zombie theme.
Sure.
But like the people kind of maintain their intelligence, so they can still use tools, they can still use guns, they can still drive cars. And something that is somewhat clever is that they do dip their knives and bullets in their fluids, not just blood, in their fluids, and they try to infect as many people as they can. But the whole thing is that if they get a hold of you, you're getting raped. Everything. You, your dogs, your babies.
Oh, they do that now?
It's bad, man. It's just like, and I try to give a story at least 6 issues. I gave this one the 6 issues, and I was just like, what in the hell?
This is just
is
Rape.
this? It's just a rape comic. It's a cannibalistic rape comic that went on for way too long.
Yikes.
Garth Ennis writes the first 10 issues, and then it had like 3 or 4 volumes total.
What?
From other writers.
Wow.
Because they thought that was an interesting thing to keep going. Now, there's one funny moment, and I can admit when something names it's terrible, but it's funny.
Yeah.
There's a moment in the story where, we have a group of survivors trying to survive together.
Sure.
And one guy, he's got his wife and his daughter, and he's telling him, he gets injured while they're trying to run away from something across. And earlier on in the show, he's like, I think salt is the answer. And they're like, what? He's like, salt is pure. He's like, I'm going to put down a ring of salt, and we'll see if they'll pass it. So he breaks his ankle or leg or something, and he makes a ring of salt, and the people are telling him, your wife and daughter need to come with us. You're screwed. We got to go. And then they elect to stay with their dad. And they won't cross the salt. They won't cross the salt. And the next page is them just getting it. All of them getting it. The child being ripped in half by it's bad. And just the wife being like, you dumb mother, and just your entrails are falling out while she's getting it. It's terrible, but it was funny.
That was one funny moment.
Because it was they're not going to cross the line. And then they do. And it reminded me of The Mummy Returns. When the pygmies are chasing Jonathan and one of the other bad guys, he's like, "Oh, these are sacred stones; they won't cross them." And then the pygmy launches himself through it, and kills the other guy, and he's like, "Sorry." It reminded me of that. That's probably why it's funnier.
Right there, you go. It's that with no rape.
Yes, and that was just with so much of Garth Ennis' stuff, man. The guy. I don't know what he's like in real life. I've never watched any interviews. I never read anything with him. But I would be uncomfortable. If I walked into an elevator and Garth Ennis in the elevator, I might punch him. Just to be safe, Because I don't know what's in his mind, I don't know what's in his mind. And, it's a terrible book. Do not read it. And again, those of you who like it, teach their own for sure, but
that says something about the person in a way.
Yeah.
Because the way you're describing it really seems just a fetish.
That's a good way to put it. It's a fetish book. I never even thought about it like that.
And maybe this is the way for them to not go out and rape people, which is fine.
Sure.
But
if that's your pressure release valve.
Sure. But if I go to your house and I see a copy of this, I'm tightening it up.
Yeah, you got to clench it up.
I'm doing some Kegels.
We tried not to go too hard on the indie comics because, hey man, they're trying. But Garth Ennis is a well-established person. Yeah. Rob Liefeld is a well-established person.
For sure.
Something else comes out from somebody I don't really know, and it was a good effort. Hey, I'm cool with that. But the Youngblood still, and Rob got me again. They relaunched Youngblood a couple years ago.
Did they really?
I was like, you know what?
I'm gonna give it a shot.
I'm gonna check out Youngblood again. And it's just the same stuff.
Oh my god!
I'm gonna
do one more.
Okay, please.
And this is my last one. If you got one more after this, awesome.
Go for it.
The last one I did.
Again, this is part 1, dude.
Oh, for sure.
We've got tons.
But I got this one. I just got to do.
Okay.
Got to get it off my chest. This is sort of your Black Panther.
Okay.
Choking out surfer, or whatever it was. It is Ultimatum.
Ultimatum.
Written by Jeff Loeb.
Jeff Loeb, yep.
For those of
Jeff
you
Loeb, David Finch, I think, did the art.
Oh, that's right. Yes,
because the art's great.
The art is pretty good. Yeah. It's not Brian Hitch.
No.
But anyway, for those not in the know, it was the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Marvel wanted to revamp some of their more popular titles, so they came up with the Ultimate line, and it's Mark Millar.
Yep.
And Brian Hitch.
Brian Michael Bendis. For Spider-Man. And
okay.
I'm sorry.
Go. You do
the whole Ultimate Universe where the whole Marvel Universe was revamped to this Ultimate Universe. Mark Millar and Brian Michael Bendis were given the Ultimates, which were the Avengers.
Okay.
And then Bendis took on Spider-Man.
Gotcha.
And Spider-Man was excellent.
Okay. Awesome. That's where we get Miles Morales.
Miles
for those of you who don't know. Yeah. And so the first 2 volumes of the Ultimates are pretty good. Pretty awesome.
Arguably some of the best 20... Well, how many issues are there? It's probably close to 25 issues.
Yeah.
Between the 2 volumes.
Totally.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Yeah, it's great.
Just the reimagining of these superheroes. It's basically taking those superheroes that we know and love, putting them in our world.
Yes. If these things could actually happen. So
right.
They really tried to keep the cosmic element out of it for a long time.
For a while, yes.
Cap did get frozen in ice, but it's cool because they don't believe him at first.
Right.
And the Captain America on the Ultimates is like very much like, hey, watch your language, like, but like means it.
Yeah, he's John Wayne.
He's very John Wayne.
He's John Wayne, man, and he he does not take kindly to these younger people.
Yes,
These youngins.
Hip. He's not hip.
He's not hip.
And his Bucky survives and marries. I don't think it's Peggy. It might be Peggy, but
is it? Oh.
I can't remember if it is Peggy. But basically, the Peggy of this universe,
right?
The sweetheart, his flame. They end up getting married, and he's not mad about it because they're old, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, he does survive. The Thor of this world is.
This is my favorite reimagining because it's so funny.
Yeah, like they don't believe that he's a god, and he's like a hippie almost.
He's like a Peace Corps member.
Yeah, eco-terrorist.
Eco-terrorist. There you go. Boom. Yeah.
And it's very interesting. And
Yeah.
Mark Millar and Brian Hitch, they did about 25 issues or so that are brilliant.
Just great. Again, read those for kids. If you've not read these, please go read them.
Ultimates
I believe
1 and
the
2.
MCU pulls a little bit from these.
Yes.
The
MCU is more Ultimate Universe than it is normal Marvel Universe.
Oh, for sure. There you go.
In a lot of ways.
Perfect. But, so, Mark Millar and Brian Hitch don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
They decide to walk away from the project. Then they want to pretty much end the Ultimate Universe. Mm-hmm. And so they bring on Jeff Loeb to write it. And let's just say, folks, it just delves into some odd places. Mm-hmm. Let's just say it does not end well.
No.
It's probably one of the worst endings to any comic book I've ever read.
They killed so many characters in this book for just no reason. Like, the Blob eats the Wasp.
And it's so mean-spirited.
It's so mean-spirited.
Yeah, the Blob, like Roman said, he cannibalizes the Wasp. Yeah. Then Hank Pym, in return, bites off the Blob's head.
Yeah.
I believe Sabretooth eats Angel.
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Like, there's a lot of cannibalism going on in this. The plot is convoluted.
Yes.
It makes no sense. It makes not a lot of sense. Quicksilver ends up killing Cyclops at the end.
Yeah.
Full-on spoilers here, but don't read this.
Yeah. I'm spoiling this thing to save you.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm doing this for you.
I mean, there was some shady calls in this Ultimate Universe. They basically, in Volume 2, they basically allude that Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are a bit incestuous.
Yeah.
Like, there's a scene where people are like saying, "Wow, your sister's hot," and then Quicksilver's like, "Yeah, I know, no chromo."
Oh God,
that didn't happen. But
yeah, I was gonna say I don't remember that at all. No
chromo. But that part is in there, though.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't even know where to take this because this was like such the biggest letdown you can imagine. This is just having so much good in your life, and then it just be taken away from you.
It's a post. Sam Loeb death story, and I talked about this a couple times on the show. Jeff's son died of cancer.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And after Jeff's son died, I gotta tell you, I haven't liked a single comic book that Jeff Loeb has read or written.
Right.
It's unfair to say, "Oh, your son died, and this is why," but at the same time, I'm a person that believes that when we get inspiration, it comes from something, and maybe that was Jeff's inspiration.
That was
his love
his
for his
muse.
son,
Yeah.
his muse. Yeah, that's what. And it's not a critique on him as a person or anything like that. It's just I definitely.
So I should be mad at his son for.
Oh my gosh, you terrible, terrible person! I do not associate with this man and his terrible stuff. All right, you did that for your friends. I know that. All right, Jeff was. I mean, Hush is my favorite Batman story of all time. And
Me too.
Jeff wrote that story and it was amazing. It's amazing.
So
Ultimatum's hot garbo.
What else did he write after his son passing away? Was that just Ultimatum, or did
he did? So he did Ultimates Volume 3 and maybe 4, which aren't very good either.
There's a 4.
There's a 4. There might be a 5 if I remember correctly.
No.
He did. I think he did some X-Men, and it was just okay.
And isn't he the TV division?
Yes.
For Marvel?
Yes. Was.
Yeah. He ran the
Kevin Feige.
Wow.
He also wrote, and he was part of a long line on Smallville. He was like the executive producer for Smallville for a long time. Good stuff. But again, pre-Sam passing away.
Wow.
And like I said, there is a depth. I couldn't tell you a story that I've read of Jeff since his son passed that I liked.
Wow.
his run on Superman Batman is fantastic.
I forgot about
so good.
Yeah, it's really good.
So good.
Jeez.
So yes, Marvel's Ultimatum, like Eric said, they were trying to close that loop. But for some reason they didn't. They were like, there were more people reading Ultimate Comics than normal Universe
For
comics.
sure. Well, especially Ultimate Spider-Man.
Especially
that was like the kicker. That was outselling normal 616 Spider-Man.
Easily. It was so good. It might be the best run of Spider-Man.
Oh, for sure. I mean, at this time when this was coming out, I was barely into comic books. And Ron was like, you have to read this. And he tossed me Ultimate Spider-Man and just being like, wow, that's such an amazing reimagining.
Yes.
Because I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah.
Go read
We'll
Ultimate
probably
Spider-Man.
talk about it at some point, maybe when there's another Miles Morales movie coming
Yeah,
out.
there you go,
or if
for
they do
sure.
something
Yeah,
that
but
feels-
go read it.
Yeah.
You know, again, we're not completely trashing these artists and writers. It's just...
This didn't work for us. These things did not work for us.
Right.
Except the cross. Don't ever read it. If you see it, just
Run
walk
for
right
the
past it.
hills.
Yeah, don't look directly at it. It's a Ark of the Covenant type of thing. All right. But you know, there are people who like Youngblood, and there are, again, friend of the show, Casey Duke, likes All-Star Batman.
For sure. Yes.
But you know, these things just weren't for us. They didn't resonate with us. If you guys like this idea, throw us some other ones that you'd like us to talk about in the comment section. Because we're probably going to do more of these.
Oh, for sure.
Know, it's probably a little cathartic to do that.
Yeah, I think
you know,
it is.
with all the good. Because you know, I don't like to badmouth things. I don't. Something. Yeah, Eric does. Eric loves it. But I don't need to crap on somebody's stuff to make myself.
But
feel
here's the sad thing: is Roman's really good at bad mouthing people. So I'm trying to bring it out of him. I'm trying to coax it out of him.
He's really. Yeah, you're really trying to take me to the dark place, okay? And I'm just trying to live in the light, baby. Just trying to live in the light.
Oh man,
guys, that has been our show today. If you like what we're doing, please hit the subscribe button, give us a like, leave us a comment. Shoot us a DM on Instagram at REC Comics. Let us know what you think about the show. Give us some show ideas.
Yeah.
Is there a book you guys that you're like, oh, this one is garbage, and maybe I haven't read it.
Yeah.
And maybe I got to check it out to see how bad it is.
For sure.
Eric, what did you learn today?
Not to read the cross.
Dude, cross is
I can't
bad.
do it, man.
It's bad.
Or maybe I'm more afraid I'll like it.
Yeah. I mean, I think if they didn't hurt animals and children, you would.
Yeah, there you go.
I think if there was no animals or kids getting
I'd be like, oh,
killed,
cool.
And I'm saying the animals are getting raped too.
Jeez.
Like, it's terrible. It's bad.
Woo.
There's a guy who's running around and he's got penises as a necklace. Like, it's yeah. Like I said, if it didn't have the children and the animals, you could enjoy it. I think. Not me, because I'm not messed up. Right? I learned that Eric's messed up and might like the cross. As I'm talking about it. No, I learned that there's going to be some worst of episodes coming up in the future.
Sure.
This idea could also be applied to film, and we love talking movies.
Yeah, absolutely.
So sooner than later, I expect to see.
There's got to be a balance.
Yeah, the worst films we've ever seen, part 1. Guys, thank you so much for listening. I have been your host, Roman Chavez.
Still Eric Icarus.
And we will catch you next time.